Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon and welcome back to our YouTube channel once again. And it is my hope and prayer that this video is actually going to find you guys in good health. Personally, I am fine. Kisumu is also fantastic, as you can see. And maybe you could also let me know where you are watching the video from, the county or the country, in case you are out of the republic. Ladies and gentlemen, yesterday was a very bad day for Kenya Kwanza. It began in Molo, where the member of parliament was actually shouted down when he tried to justify the high cost of fuel. And then in Kakamega, Boni Alwale encountered hostile crowds twice. He first of all encountered the hostile crowd when he attended some funeral, and the moment he started talking about Kenya Kwanza, the mourners just decided to leave their seats. And Boni Alwale ended up addressing empty seats. And later on, Boni Alwale attended another function. And this was the situation.
Wakati bei ya mafuta imebadilika katika jamii ya ulimwengu, nimeenda kwa president, tumeenda Korea, tumeleta bodaboda yenye wewe uwezi hiyo mafuta.
But I don't want to focus on those for now. Right now, I want us to focus on something that took place in Rift Valley, William Ruto's backyard. Apparently, there was a funeral there, a big funeral. That funeral was attended by several leaders, including governors, including members of parliament. And the former member of parliament for Nandi Hills, Alfred Keter, also attended that funeral. And when he was given the opportunity to speak, what shocked many Kenyans was the fact that when he was speaking, he began by attacking Kenya Kwanza government and the leadership. And the crowd turned wild. He was cheered widely, to the surprise of the elected leaders. And the moment he sat down, the elected leaders could not even be allowed to address the same meeting. Of course, they could address, but not to mention anything to do with trying to justify the cost of fuel. Listening to the speech by Alfred Keter, because in this video, I want us to do a critical analysis of that particular incident in Rift Valley.
What you mentioned about delocalization is bothering many teachers. And it will be worse because the fuel has been increased and the cost of transport will be crazy that no teacher will afford. The cost of living is on another level. You stood on a platform of bottom up. Kusaidia wale wanyonge, alafu uende juu. Lakini saizi mmesahau, mkiongeza fuel, mnatesa wale wa chini zaidi kushinda wale ambao ni. Kama mmoja wako kwa fuel tubote sio na mtu waje kututisha hapo kidogo tio pagile moto bu amu serikali kwa mwa. Mami, yage rubuchi wekitu. Ama sawa basi, mko hapa. Mkitoka hapa mtuonyeshe petrol stations ya watu wa serikali na ile ya opposition. Magenge, ndiye mandazi gete begalibono. Anane. Na mwanzo tuambie teo sijini. Watu kumabolo satweka sasa wanaona mimi mrende kimbe mimi. There are many people who are languishing in poverty. The school fees has been increased. The cost of living is on another level. And you spoke on the same basis. Mulisema yule rais ambaye alitoka hapo anajua kuongoza, hata mimi nikakubali. Lakini nyinyi you have made it worse than Uhuru Kenyatta. Anane, ukasema une maisha maui? Anane. Magisa hizo haige. Magisa hizo haige. Kiasi ni jata kata tokul drama to magisa. Ana kuna picha hapa. Na mama ya zira bye mama ya zira. Au hata bikeleni mandangaleta takamwa. Weka mkono tu wale wote kwa kusema ni kweli. Asante
have imagined that hardly a year after getting into office, William Ruto and Kenya Kwanza would find themselves in a similar situation where Uhuru Kenyatta found himself in? As for Uhuru Kenyatta, it was by bad luck. Remember, Uhuru Kenyatta became the president in the second term. He entered into the handshake. Then the COVID hit. Everything went down. At some point, I think even schools were closed, businesses were closed, but Uhuru Kenyatta survived. But William Ruto has never encountered such kind of an calamity. But the crowd is already hostile to him. What do you think is really happening to William Ruto? In this video, I want us to do a critical analysis about the particular incident in Rift Valley. But before we do that, for those who are watching this channel for the first time, please take a second or two, click that subscribe button so that next time we produce a video like this, YouTube will automatically notify you. And to the subscribers, I want to continue thanking you guys for your continued support, because without that support, this channel cannot be where it is. Ladies and gentlemen, yesterday, I did a video very late in the night, and based on my own estimation, the video is not doing badly, it's doing good, and you can also watch it. In that video, I tried to explain why William Ruto's government, or Kenya Kwanza, will find it very difficult to win the seat again in 2027. And based on what we are witnessing, this is exactly what Uhuru Kenyatta started witnessing, but they lived in denial for a very long time. The truth of the matter is that as things stand today, Kenyans are very angry. Kenyans are very bitter with Kenya Kwanza government. How do you explain a situation where William Ruto is out of the country on ICT issues, and the minister for ICT is not with him? It's not with him. Minister for ICT is somewhere in the villages meeting women. How do you justify a deputy president going outside the country for that long, doing basically nothing? How do you justify the prime cabinet secretary out of the country? So in short, top 3 leaders in the country are all of them out of the country. How do you justify that? And Kenyans are now feeling the heat. But let us now focus on my analysis of the incident that took place in Rift Valley yesterday. Number one, in my view, I'm trying to figure out that Kenya Kwanza has already failed. And it is now evident by the fact that everybody, including those who voted for Kenya Kwanza, are actually now against the government. I mean, there is no justification on why William Ruto would allow the cost of fuel to hit 200 bob. Even if those subsidies were going to someone else's pocket, the benefit was being felt by ordinary Kenyan. I would advocate for William Ruto to allow the subsidies again and let them go to people's pocket. But at the end of the day, Kenyans, at least the burden facing Kenyans is a bit lowered. So the truth is, everybody in this country today, including those who voted for Ruto, are now feeling that Kenya Kwanza government has actually failed, whichever angle you look at it. And that's why we are witnessing this kind of rebellion against the government and elected leaders. Number two, the political reality is also checking in. The truth is, Kenyans are now waking up that what they were told during campaigns and the reality are totally different. You know, when you told Kenyans that you're going to reduce the cost of unga to under 100 bob, then Kenyans in their numbers believe that there's a bumper harvest. Then you go to supermarket, then you still find unga trailing at you still find unga retailing at 200 bob, or let's say 189. Of course, there's some offers there where you will always get them 160 something. Then there's a problem, because the question is, what will happen if the stock is reduced? Because with the time, Kenyans are going to eat whatever they kept in their stores. What will happen? Will the figures go up there? What justifies the cost of oil to be that high? If, for example, it was high because of certain international factors, and those factors are no longer in play, what justifies that? Of course, things like fuel, granted, they are international factors. But the last time they were increased. Internationally, it was the lowest ever. But these guys still increased it. So Kenyans are now realizing that whatever they were being told during campaigns and the reality are totally two different things. And because of this, William Ruto is going to find it very, very difficult, I'm telling you. Number three, if you ask me, I also tend to think that William Ruto and his government are actually walking a very dangerous path. And that path is actually slippery. So they must tread carefully, because if they don't, they are going to slide. And they are going to slide and they will not be able to recover. My prayer and hope is that as the Mio Moja One Kenya Alliance, who is the government in waiting, should actually also get their things right. Instead of holding those weekly or daily press conferences, they should not. They should come up with a clear communication strategy. Yesterday, someone shared with me a clip. And in that clip, there's another lady who was explaining the implication of taxes. For example, the VAT, how is it affecting the traders? Those are the things Azimio should actually focus on. And I also think number 4, that there is a rebellion which is building up against Kenya Kwanza government across the country, including Rift Valley. Because it has now reached a point where in Rift Valley, they're not talking openly. In Rift Valley, they are openly siding with this is their government. You'd expect them to really just stick with it, even and that's why the statement by Alfred Keter was funny, that he wanted those leaders to go and show him after this meeting, after the event, where petrol stations are for the opposition and those for government. You see, the thing is, there's a rebellion, and in Rift Valley, it's just a matter of time. There was no leadership. In fact, when William Ruto appointed Charles Keter the other day, I opined that probably the next person they will be targeting with appointment would be Alfred Keter. But the trajectory Alfred Keter is taking, I don't think will be able to take up any government positions. And lastly, something is also not going to sell. And this should worry Kenya Kwanza, the anti-Raila Odinga's narrative. It is now stale. How do you go and tell the mountain that, or the Rift Valley that, because of Raila, that's why the cost of fuel is high. You see, you blamed Raila and you blamed Uhuru for the cost of fuel. Now they're not in there. By the time they left, and right now, I think Uhuru Kenyatta left when fuel was 150 something. In 1 year, it's now 200. There is no justification. In fact, immediately William Ruto took office, the first thing he did was to remove subsidies. That one alone increased the cost of fuel by 20 bob. And then the subsequent increments. It goes against what William Ruto used to tell these people. And these people are now watching all those old clips and what is happening, and then they are realizing that, okay, kumbe tulichezwa. I don't know what you think. That's my take. Thank you guys, and may you have a good day. I'm coming back with that video of Boni Halwale. Wait for it.